Pegasus Seiya is considered by many to be the most powerful bronze saint, since he managed to accomplish incredible feats, considered true miracles. However, the truth is that Seiya was not able to defeat all the enemies he faced. And among these legendary enemies, there are 5 who made history. Hello, Saints and Amazons, how are you all doing? Welcome to the Semper Quiz Saber channel, I'm Wes, and today I'm going to show you the 5 most powerful enemies who have ever defeated Pegasus Seiya in the classic Saga. Did you like the topic? So go ahead and click like, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and let's get into this awesome video. Sempre quis saber. Night number 1. Goal of Perseus. Let's start our video in the Silver Saints phase. If you think the Gold Saints were the first to give the Bronze Saints a hard time, you certainly forgot how terrifying Goal of Perseus was. This saint represents the constellation of Perseus, who carries the legend of the hero who decapitated the Gorgon Medusa, the monster with snakes instead of hair, who turned anyone who looked into her eyes to stone. And the silver cloth of Perseus brings exactly this supreme power in its Medusa shield. During the journey of the Bronze Saints, they cross paths with Goal. Seiya, always impulsive and confident in his Pegasus meteor fist, charges in with everything he's got. He believed that his speed and brute strength would be enough. Seeing this, Goal didn't even need to break a sweat or use his hand-to-hand combat techniques. He simply opened the eyes of the Medusa shield, which was on his back. And the cursed light shone, and in a matter of seconds, Seiya was completely petrified next to Shun. He didn't stand a chance to defend himself, and he was instantly defeated, turning into a lifeless stone statue. The power of Perseus's shield was so overwhelming that simply closing your eyes wasn't enough to defend against it. The light of Medusa penetrated eyelids and retinas, and that's why Dragon Shiryu, to save Seiya and Shun, had to take the extreme step of destroying his own eyes with his fingers, making himself blind so he wouldn't be affected by the petrifying light. And that way, he was able to destroy Medusa's shield and kill Algol of Perseus, breaking the curse on Seiya and Shun, who returned to normal. Night number 2, Asterion of the Hounds. Still in the Silver Saints saga, Seiya suffered a devastating defeat at the hands of Asterion of the Hounds. Asterion possessed a very rare ability in Athena's army. Satori is the ability to read the mind and thoughts of an opponent through telepathy. Asterion mastered this technique perfectly, and when Seiya tried to attack him, the fight became a bad joke for the knight. Seiya's Pegasus meteors require him to think about the trajectory of his punches, and Asterion could read exactly where each punch would go even before Seiya's arm moved. He dodged with a smile on his face. And to make matters worse, Asterion had the Million Ghosts attack, where he moved so fast that he created multiple copies of himself. Seiya was beaten from all directions, with Asterion anticipating his thoughts. Seiya collapsed, utterly defeated, bleeding and unconscious. The one who had to save the day was Marin of Eagle, who emptied her own mind and used the state of emptiness to surprise and defeat Asterion, since she had no thoughts for him to read. As a fun fact, Asterion's Million Ghosts attack has 2 variations, one in the manga and another in the anime. In the anime, Asterion jumps and projects his image several times over a wide area. These duplicates are nothing more than illusions and cannot be hit. However, they manifest the same cosmic energy as that of the Hunting Dogs constellation. The end result is hundreds of Asterion launching consecutive attacks, defeating the enemy. In the manga, he and his ghosts move quickly toward the opponent, ending by striking him with several kicks to the enemy's vital points. And while in the anime, the illusions fire several beams of light. Night number 3, Aiolia of Leo. Entering the Battle of the 12 Houses, the power level of the enemies jumps astronomically. The Gold Saints master the 7th sense and move at the speed of light. Here we'll discuss the beating Seiya received in the House of Leo from Aiolia, who was under the effects of Imperial Satan. Aiolia grew up with the stigma of being the brother of Aiolos of Sagittarius, labeled by the Sanctuary as a traitor. He swore loyalty to the Grand Master to clear his family's name. However, after discovering that Saori Kido was the true Athena, he confronts the Grand Master. And that's when the tragedy happens. The Grand Master, who was actually Saga of Gemini, uses this forbidden mind control technique on Aiolia. This attack turns the target into a ruthless killing machine, and the hypnosis is only broken when the target sees someone die before their eyes. When he enters the Leo Temple, he expected to find the friendly Aiolia from before. Instead, he finds a demon with red eyes. Aiolia fires the lightning plasma, a technique that launches 100 million punches per second at the speed of light, creating a web of lasers that is inescapable. Seiya is beaten and has his leg brutally broken by Aiolia. Pegasus was on the ground without hope, completely subdued by an opponent he considered an ally. He was only not killed because Cassius, Sheena's disciple, who lost his ear in the fight for the Pegasus cloth when he faced Seiya in the first episode, invaded the Leo temple and sacrificed himself so that the death condition of the Imperial Satan could be fulfilled and the Leo Gold Saint could return to normal. Night number 4, Saga of Gemini. We have reached the climax of the Sanctuary Saga, the man responsible for all the misfortune, the embodiment of a split personality, Saga of Gemini. 13 years ago, Saga murdered the real Grandmaster Scion of Ares and ruled the sanctuary under a mask of kindness, while his evil personality plotted Athena's death. The final battle in the Grandmaster's chambers was a brutal showdown. Saga masters absurd techniques, the Galaxian Explosion, which has the power to simulate the destruction of entire solar systems, and another dimension, which can tear the fabric of space-time and banish the enemy to eternal vacuum. When Seiya finally arrives at the hall, believing he could take Athena's shield to save Saori, Saga's evil personality takes over and his hair changes color. Saga decides that killing Seiya quickly wouldn't be fun enough. And with precise blows at the speed of light, Saga begins to remove Seiya's senses, first touch, then smell, taste, hearing, and finally sight. The Pegasus Knight is reduced to a living shell, unable to see, hear, or feel the ground beneath him. The fact is that Seiya never completely defeated Saga. Pegasus took a beating from start to finish, but he managed to drag his destroyed body and point Athena's shield at Saori, thanks to the cosmos of his friends who helped him. The one who ultimately defeated Saga in the end was Saga himself. In the manga, when he was struck by the light of the shield, his good personality regained control and the evil spirit was expelled from his body. And in an act of deep remorse, he ends up piercing his own heart to redeem himself. In the anime, Saga's evil spirit remained in his body even after the light of the shield saved Athena. However, the Gemini Saint momentarily regains control and sacrifices himself with the goddess's staff. Number 5, Rhadamanthys of Wyvern. Now let's talk about the true nightmare of Athena's saints in the early stage of the Holy War against Hades. This is Rhadamanthys of Wyvern, the celestial star of the leaf, and one of the 3 judges of the underworld. The Wyvern is a winged dragon from British medieval legends, known for its cruelty. Rhadamanthys wears a surplice, the armor of Hades' specters, and his cosmo is purely aggressive and overwhelming. Seiya's first great humiliation at the hands of Rhadamanthys happens at Hades' castle on Earth, the old Henstein Castle. The castle is protected by a barrier placed by the god of the underworld himself. This barrier reduces the strength, speed, and cosmo of anyone in the castle. Athena's knight, to less than 10% of his original capacity. Rhadamanthys had already obliterated the resurrected Gold Saints, Deathmask, and Aphrodite of Pisces, throwing them into the pit of hell and the Yomotsu Hirasaka. Taking advantage of Hades' barrier, he also defeated Mu of Aries, Aiolia of Leo, and Milo of Scorpio. And when Seiya, Shiryu, Hyoga, and Shun arrive, they are slaughtered. Rhadamanthys unleashes his maximum destruction, a shockwave of dark cosmo that crushes the knights against the ground. It was a bitter defeat, where the protagonist and his friends realized they didn't stand a chance against the elite of Hades' army at that moment. Did you enjoy meeting the 5 enemies who defeated Seiya in the classic anime? Comment on who you think was missing, and thank you for watching until the end. See you next time. Burn your cosmo to infinity.